All right, welcome to our November MLC Moments webinar. My name is Michelle Singh, and I am recording this session. And I'm going to share my screen right now so that you can see the presentation. So here we go. So tonight we're going to talk about Microsoft Office Online, some of the tools that are part of Office Online, and how we can use them to foster the 4Cs in our classrooms and our teaching and learning environments. So we want to make sure that everybody on the call is here and can hear everything. No music playing right now because I turned it off since we started, but just want to make sure that you're muted, and when it's time to speak, if you have questions or want to share, just make sure you unmute and check your device settings in case you cannot hear. So my name is Michelle, like I mentioned before, and I'm the Microsoft Learning Consultant for Miami, the Miami area. That means not just Miami. I actually support school districts in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So it's a little bit outside of Miami, but I support them with teaching and training and strategic planning with Microsoft products. For this session, if you want to tweet anything, you can tag me in your Twitter account and also hashtag Microsoft EDU. So on the agenda, we're going to talk about the modern classroom, 21st century skills, and of course the Microsoft application for this month is what's in Office Online. Office Online comprises of these tools here. You can feel free to download each one of them individually on your device to have access to them. During the session tonight, we're going to focus mainly on PowerPoint and Word because we did have our session last month where we talked about OneNote. If you have questions at any time and you all are part of the team, please feel free to post your questions in the parking lot. And all of our webinars that you're participating in focuses on Microsoft's mission of empowering every student. That's why the focus has been not just learning about the tools, but seeing how the tools are applied in the classroom and how they can help foster those 21st century skills in students, because we're trying to expose students to that modern classroom environment. So this is, again, why we have the webinars focus on the tool and the 21st century skills. Just a reminder that when you do join the webinar and you're a part of the team, you do have to switch your tenants. You're going to be in it should say test Microsoft US EDU. You would have to switch to your district tenant to get back to your regular team. There is a video on how to do this in the Getting Started channel of the team.
Michelle, can I ask a question?
Sure, ma'am. Yes.
So I think that I'm connected to my district tenant, but since you and I are in the same district tenant, so I think I have to hang up and come back in on the guest tenant because I can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't see my screen at all?
No, but I'm showed as connected to my district tenant, but I think because we're perhaps colleagues, maybe that's why I can still hear you.
No, at the top it does say Miami-Dade County at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Can you switch it? Can you click it and see if you have a drop down to switch into the
let me see.
Test? It should say test.
Yeah, I see it. I just didn't want to hang up and then be rude.
Okay, no problem. So see if it'll let you switch. If not, okay, you could just click the link to get back in.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Okay. All right, so to give you an overview of the 21st century skills, we have critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. And with each of these skills, I would highly recommend this 21st Century Learning Design course that you can find on the Microsoft Education Center. The Microsoft Education Center has this course where it breaks down each of the 21st century skills, and it provides big ideas and rubrics to help you identify what these skills look like in the classroom. And it is based on research methodology with how they break down these 21st century skills. What I really like about the course is that it does provide the rubrics, but it gives you classroom examples of each skill and what they're supposed to look like. And it provides these big ideas that helps you to ensure that you are giving students opportunities to use skills within the lessons and learning tasks that you're creating. These questions help you, and they are a guide for you. So you can take a look at these questions. If you know that your lesson, you want to have high collaboration in your lesson, you can look at the questions for collaboration to make sure that the students are doing interdependent work, or the students have a shared responsibility and they are making substantive decisions. In addition to the big ideas, there are these wonderful rubrics that have those big ideas as a focus. So you can see the big ideas here on the right, but the rubric breaks down what it should really look like. So in terms of creativity, are the students using problem solving? Is it a real world problem? Are they creating something innovative? So again, these bullet points and these big ideas here help guide you in making sure that the students are meeting the requirements for the 21st century skills. And you have, again, here's the example for critical thinking, which the focus is problem solving, real world and innovation, collaboration, communication, and those are the four skills for the 21st century. Now, what we're going to take a look at is I'm actually going to go live and show you some of the features that are in Word and PowerPoint. But we know that with Word and PowerPoint, they are all stored, or they live in your OneDrive. So within your OneDrive, you can create, upload, share, and manage the access that you give to those you share with. And with Word, these are some of the things that we're going to take a look at. So I'm going to share my browser with you, and I'm going to start here in PowerPoint. So within PowerPoint, one of the features that I actually like in PowerPoint, because it helps me to stop spending so much time on designing. I can click this design tab and I could click design ideas, and then it gives me suggestions of what my slide should look like. So I can easily change the look of my slide by selecting one of these options here. And again, it takes away the thinking and the time that's needed to change color schemes and font styles and etc. So that's one of the nice things about PowerPoint. This is available online and in the desktop. So we have the design option. Another thing that I want to show you in PowerPoint is it's under the slideshow, and this is pretty new, this option here to rehearse with coach. I'm not sure you've tried this, but this is such a terrific option for students because it helps them to go through the slides of the PowerPoint, and they can practice what they're going to say, and it does give them tips on what they need to improve on. So I'm going to click here, start rehearsing. And of course, you have to allow it to use your microphone. If you haven't done that, it'll give you a pop-up. So as I'm going through my presentation, if I do things like read straight from the slide, it'll give me a little pop-up. If I say things like and it'll give a pop-up. If I say words that are just like you see right there, if I say words that may be sensitive words, like I am the master teacher of the Microsoft Educator community, it tells me that the word master might be offensive. So as I go through my presentation, start your journey by becoming a Microsoft Innovative Educator, MIE. It'll tell me to not read the slides. And so it gives these kids, and also adults, because adults can use it as well, it gives you a nice overview of what you have done for your presentation. And it provides it in a chart, which you could see here, this report that tells you how much time you've spent, the number of slides you've rehearsed. Also, it gives you the slide numbers that you may have read straight from the slide so that you can go back and provide just the key points for those slides. So this is and it also, what I also like is it provides you with, for those sensitive phrases, it gives you options. So it doesn't just tell you that it's sensitive, but it actually gives you an option. So I do like this now that it's available. It's a great tool for students. And, you know, it builds their confidence and it helps them to be better prepared. And again, it taps on that whole idea of empowering all learners. So that is the Rehearse with Coach example. One of the next things that I do want to show you, excuse my dogs, one of the things that I do want to show you next is the subtitles option. Now, when you were in the desktop, PowerPoint had an add-in for the translation, for the translator. So there is an option here online for translator through these subtitles. So you can tell it which language you're speaking and then which language you would like it to translate into. So you see all these options here, and you can choose whichever language you would like for it to translate. So I'm going to choose, let's try Chinese. Cheryl, are you traditional or simplified for Chinese? Because I know you speak a little, right? Or
I'm still learning, but traditional.
traditional. Okay, so let's test that one out. So I chose the spoken language and the subtitles, and then here this is how the subtitles will show up. It can either be above the slide or overlaid over the content, so or below the slide, so wherever you would like it to go. And so what you're going to do here is, if you notice, when I clicked it, it turned it gray, and when I clicked it, it turned it regular color. So you're basically going to turn it on by clicking it so that it turns gray, and then you hit play in slideshow. And if you notice at the bottom, it's starting the subtitles. Microsoft Innovative Educator Programs. The Microsoft Innovative Educator Programs recognize global educator visionaries who are using technology to pave the way. So not sure, you know, Cheryl, if you're picking that up with the Chinese, but I hear it's pretty accurate with the languages being translated. So again, this option is great because it's not only in the desktop, you have it available online as well. So we've looked at the Rehearse with Coach, the Always Use Subtitles option, and then there's something else that I do want to show you, and I am going to put it up here in my Tell Me tab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click here to open in desktop, because I think this is such a great option to have. And it is the option of reusing slides. So I just typed in the Tell Me option, reuse slides. So it allows me to go back to another PowerPoint that I may have used and choose slides from that PowerPoint to add to my current PowerPoint. So I can choose any of the PowerPoints that I have saved on my device and pick and choose slides from it to just add to my current presentation. I think that is super convenient, and just it really helps with efficiency and productivity for teachers. So we've looked at the captions, and we've looked at the Rehearse with Coach. And of course, in the desktop option of PowerPoint, there is the dictation feature. We know that the dictation feature is right here in Word, which we're going to take a look at, but it is now available in the desktop version of PowerPoint. So in the desktop, you'll see it. Okay, so I'm going to jump right over here to the Word file so that we could take a look at some of these features here in Word. The first one being the dictate option. So with dictate, you can select here the language that you're speaking and allow it to use your microphone. Now you can dictate and it will type what you are saying. Turn off the microphone. So again, this feature is now available online. This feature is also available in different applications such as Outlook and PowerPoint. Okay, another feature that is obviously a powerful feature that's available is the Immersive Reader. And the Immersive Reader is under the View tab. The Immersive Reader is available in Word, and it is also available in OneNote. It is available in the online version of Word, and in OneNote, it's available in the online and the app. So with Immersive Reader, you are able to adjust your text preferences, like your size, your spacing, your color scheme for the background, the contrasting, and you are also able to make these adjustments to your grammar option. So things like syllables, let's go to the English part so that there we go. So syllables, it's where my mouse is. So let me just click back up here. There we go. So syllables, and it will identify nouns and verbs and adjectives and adverbs, and you can show the labels so that you can see what those parts of speech are. And you don't have to show the labels, or you could do them one at a time. And this is, again, great for students to have this option for the grammar. And then with the reading preferences, you can do line focusing while reading. And you can turn that option off and on. And there's this wonderful picture dictionary option. So with the picture dictionary, you can click on a word, and if that word has a picture, you'll see it right there. And sometimes if the word has more than one meaning, that you'll see both pictures for that particular word. Okay? So there's the picture dictionary, and then there's a translate feature that allows you to translate the text from about 60 languages. So you could choose any of these languages, and if you choose, I'm going to choose Dutch. So I can translate by word. That just means that I can click here on the word, and then it has the English word and the translation here. So don't. And I can also translate this entire document. And what I really like about this is, even though this document was written in different languages, it translated all of those languages into Dutch. So when I go here to the original, these are all the different languages that were here, that were part of this document. Now everything is in Dutch. So it's very powerful, and it's the AI is very intuitive. Another, the other thing I wanted to show you in the Immersive Reader was the reading out loud. It can read the text out loud. So when you press the reading option here, it does read out loud, and you can change the pace from slow to fast and change the voice from male to female. So you may not be able to hear that reading over the webinar. So in Word, Immersive Reader. Okay, in Word, you also have what's called ideas. And ideas help you with things related to grammar and conventions. Okay, so if there's anything in your text that they have a recommendation for what should be there versus what's there, it'll come up and give you those suggestions in ideas. And then, of course, your reference option. That's great for formatting the work. You have more options in Word Online, and within the online version, you also see the translate option where you can translate a selection or just the document. So I can just take this little section here, hit translate the selection, and then I have a little window open up here that allows me to do this translation. So you could see it here. So you have two places for translation in this Word. You have the Immersive Reader, and then you also have just the regular translate option here. Okay, So those are the features that I wanted to show you in those two applications. Now, some tips and tricks shared from other teachers and just from experience. When you're using those tools for collaboration with students and for students to work together on those files, you want to make sure that, especially if it's PowerPoint, students to be very explicit in their instructions and your instructions for them, because you want to tell the students exactly what to do and where to do it, especially if it's a collaborative PowerPoint that they're working on. And then another thing is assign each student to a or group to a particular slide number to avoid any conflict and anybody erasing any content. When you're working in a Word document, it's great to use tables to designate a space for each student to type what they need to type. And it's also good to put the names. You can either put the names of the students in the first column or assign the students a number and place that number in the first column so that students know exactly where to go to type. So what we're going to take a look at next is some teaching examples. And as we look at them, we're going to kind of see the 4Cs come to life in those examples. So let's look at this example here. This is an example from a parent and student workshop. In this parenting skills class, Miss Alberto, she met with the parents and the students, and she wanted the students to create, with the help of parents, of course, this collaborative PowerPoint on meeting the children's social, emotional, religious needs, etc. And so she shared a collaborative PowerPoint with the students, and she had 5 students per group or per PowerPoint, and each student was assigned a different need. So you could see one example here. Jaden was assigned a different a need, and they collaborated, and they also used the commenting feature. So that's what I like. They can provide comments on each slide, whether it's the teacher or whether it's the students. They can ask questions, they can give suggestions, and the parents obviously help their children and were able to see their kids at work. So this is a great example of using PowerPoint for collaboration. Students were definitely collaborating. They were definitely communicating by using the commenting feature. And they were using critical thinking. They had to, discuss with parents, and they had to come up with these ideas and creativity because they had to select, they had to design their slides. Okay. In this other example, you are seeing a group PowerPoint project. So in this one, the students were working individually on the slides, but in this one, the students were working, as a group on each slide. So each small group had their own slide, but each person in the group had a task to do on that slide. And so they created this project, and then they were presenting this project in some kind of fair showcase after it was created for the class. Okay, so we actually take a look at that in another tab. So in this example, the students are reflecting. In the training session, they were reflecting using Word online. And they answered questions, specific questions that the teachers gave. And then they also commented, if you notice these little box here, they commented on each other's posts or each other's responses. One of the methods that's great for commenting is tag. And they use the tag method for their comments. And it's great to use because it gives, if you're working with students, it guides them in how to provide comments. So they're not just saying, "Oh, I like what you wrote," or something very simple. So there's this article from Edutopia, and it's actually a video. Let's see, here it is. This is I can provide this link in the Teams at the end, but it breaks down the tag method, and I've used the tag method a lot in my own teaching. It is a great way for students to interact with each other and provide constructive feedback. So in the examples that you saw with this Word, with this PowerPoint group, and this individual PowerPoint, the students were definitely meeting those requirements for collaboration, right? They had shared responsibility, they made decisions, and they were doing interdependent work, and they were communicating, whether it was with their parents for a purpose or for a particular audience, like the science showcase, and they were supporting their communication with evidence. They were constructing knowledge, and sometimes it was interdisciplinary, and they were solving real world problems, like the example from Miss Alberto. They were talking about the needs of the needs of students. Okay, so what we're going to do now is kind of open up the floor for you to talk about or share anything that you've done with uh, Office Online, whether it's Word, PowerPoint. It could be Excel. I know folks that, and I have an example of an Excel that I'll show you as well, where you're using those Office Online features to increase collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and I'm forgetting one, whatever the fourth one that I'm forgetting. So, does anyone want to share what they're doing in their school district with Office Online? I You're breaking up a little bit. Somebody, well, let's see what the chat says. Okay. If you want to type something in the chat, go ahead and do that, and I can read it. All right, Cheryl, go ahead. Yeah, just unmute yourself, Cheryl, and you could share.
So hi, I'm Cheryl with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Nice to see you, Michelle.
Hi.
I'm going to talk about one of the things that I do at the beginning of the school year that I really like to do in PowerPoint Online. One of the ways that I like to get to know my students is do a collaborative PowerPoint. And like you suggested, I assign each student their own slide. I always take the first slide because slide number 1 happens to be the slide that always gets erased. So I always take the first slide and make it a title slide so that no student work is on there. And then I tell the students that they have 10 words and 3 images that they can put onto the slide that tells about who they are as a getting to know you activity. And then we share that on the second day of class or the next time that I see them. Then I use that collaborative PowerPoint anytime I have a new student. I'm not currently in the classroom, but when I was in the classroom, my classroom was very transitional and I had new students all the time. So it was a way that I could have all my new students feel like they were a part of the group. So I had every time a new student came in, I paired them up with a buddy. They sat down, they worked on the PowerPoint, and then we shared their collaborative slide with the class. But they also were able to see everybody else's collaborative slide. So they were able to put names and faces together. Students talked about what their favorite pastimes were, what their hopes were. Sometimes they talked about the animals that they had in their family or how long they had been in the United States. So that's one of my favorite ways to use a collaborative PowerPoint.
Oh, great. And I love that you can get back to the PowerPoint, when you have new students, and they'll be able to see and learn about each of their classmates, even though, they may have come to the class late. So I really love that. And you gave a great tip making the first slide, the title slide. I'm going to add that to the recommendations for tips and tricks for the PowerPoint. That's a great one. So thank you for sharing, Cheryl. I appreciate it. And I don't see any other comments in the comment box. So I am going to just share a couple examples here. So in terms of using tables, this is an example of using tables. You have your names or the numbers here on the left-hand side, and then your questions. And then this helps for participants or students to know, where to go and put in the information or the responses. And it's also great because they can see each other's comments and then they can learn, different perspectives. And in the PowerPoint, that's a collaborative PowerPoint. I see what you're saying here. The first slide, Cheryl, should be a title slide. And then always have the directions somewhere on there so students can refer to the directions. Then for this one in particular, instead of referring to the number of the slide, I put the numbers on the actual slide, because if Allison has slide number 1, she's going to go to the one that has the number versus the number up here. So this was just another tip that I found out while doing the training. The participants preferred to have the numbers on the slide. It was less confusing for them. And then in terms of using Excel can be used, I know, in schools, if the teachers were having some kind of event and they needed to share what they were bringing to the event, they actually put, an Excel together, shared the Excel link, and then had their names and what they were bringing. It could be very similar in a classroom. And in this case, this is a collection of SWAY presentation links. So in this particular example, each class had a sheet here at the bottom. So you could see period 1 to period 6. So the students would add their names and then their SWAY links. This example was designed for a class that was using SWAYs as a digital portfolio option. So the teacher would have access to their SWAY digital portfolio links all year. It wouldn't, she, instead of them sharing it with her via email, she had it on this Excel sheet that she could refer to. And then this is that solar system project example. So here are the instructions, but what you'll also note is that on the slide, the third slide, it actually breaks down the groups, who's going to be on what slide in those small groups. So it was more of a group presentation rather than each student individually on the slides. So those are some of the examples I wanted to share. And then now, before we end, I want to talk about where you can find some wonderful resources for Office Online. So the MEC, you know it as the MEC. It's the Microsoft Educator Community, but the Microsoft Educator Community is going to be the new Microsoft Education Center come December. So everything from the Microsoft Educator Community, in terms of the content, like the courses, they're going to be moved to the Microsoft Educator Center. So that includes your courses, the achievements, the badges, the transcripts, the certificates. They're all going to be on this new MEC site. And I am going to show it to you here. Actually, when you go to the Microsoft Educator Community, you're going to see two announcements here. The first one is that the new Skype Classroom is coming soon and you can download those guides. But this one also has the new Microsoft Educator Center. So for this one, I've signed in and I am able to see some of my badges come over. So just kind of be on the lookout for that, because that's where the courses are going to be come December. So on the Microsoft Educator Community or the Microsoft Educator Center, you can find courses like this one. For example, this one is entitled Developing Workforce Ready Skills in Office Online. So this is a course that you can recommend to educators, to learn a little bit more about Office Online in the classroom and preparing students to collaborate and just be college and career ready by using Office Online. There are also these templates that are very helpful. You can get templates for training purposes or just templates for general use. And these are hyperlinks. And again, I'm going to put the presentation in the channel where you can have access to all of this. But these templates are here for you for free to have access to. So if I click Office Templates here, it takes me to all of these things that I can have for free, where I don't ever have to start from scratch. I can just grab one of these templates. And as a trainer, like some of you on the call, you can go here and look at some of the content that's already built for the training topics and just pull from those. So you have templates that you have access to. And I love these cheat sheets. I'm not sure if you've seen these, but these Office cheat sheets are the best. They have a cheat sheet for every Office online, whether it's Excel, OneDrive. If you click on them, they are very, very cute in terms of how they break down the look of the different applications. And it's just super helpful to have these cheat sheets and have them shareable where you can give them to the teachers that you support or just keep them in your class. So I actually put these in the file section of this channel already for you to have access to. So you have those cheat sheets, and at this time, if you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat or you can ask them out loud. If not, I do have a code if you'd like to redeem the code to the Microsoft Educator, to the MEC, we'll just say the MEC. And you do have to go to the old MEC to redeem the code here. And again, that'll be in the presentation if you want to write it down later. So the cheat sheets, I'll put the link directly in the chat so that you can get those cheat sheets, okay? They are very helpful, but I actually have put all those cheat sheets in the file section of the channel. When you get into the team, just click files and you're able to download those PDFs for the cheat sheets, but I'll put the link for you as well. And we will be, yep, I'll go back to the code. There's the code. And so I'll put the presentation and everything in the team so you can have access to it later, and the recording for the session. I'll also upload that once I get it from Stream, and you can refer to it at a later date if you would like. So here's the code. And oh, Cheryl, you had a question? Or any does someone?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, okay, I just heard.
What team is this called or what team?
I'll show it to you. It's the MLC Moments team. So when I go to, I'm going to bring it over here actually. Can you see the screen? So yeah, you should have been added to the team. And so when you go, it's the MLC Moments one. So the general tab has just the general information. Each of these months here, if you click on them, you'll see in the tab the presentation and then the recording. And then you'll see the webinar call with whatever comments were made during the webinar, or if there were any links shared, it'll be here.
Perfect, thank you.
And so every month has kind of the same information. So like the last month, this was the MEC code from October. There were lots of links that we shared for breakouts, so I just put them there. So I'll share in the November channel all those links as well. I'll just add it as a conversation, so you don't have to go looking for it.
Awesome. So you're doing these monthly?
Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so next month we'll meet December 18th at 6 o'clock, the same time. So it'll always be a Wednesday toward the end of the month. I know we have the holidays, so that's why it's on the 18th. So next month will be the new Skype in the classroom, because they are releasing the new Skype website pretty soon. And so there's just lots to talk about with the new Skype in the classroom. I'm really excited about that topic. So you could join me next month for that, and you can invite whomever you would like. They just have to fill out that registration form that to be added to the team, and then I'll send the reminder out like I did today, which you can then forward to them. And that's it, guys. Thank you for joining. I appreciate having you on the call, and I appreciate being able to share with you guys on the call. If you guys have any additional questions, please free to let me know. And you're very welcome.
Sorry, one last question. This
Sure.
Says it's recorded. Is it available for us to listen to again?
Yeah, so I'll be posting the recording in the team. So it won't be, I'll get the recording like once Stream sends it to me. So like if you look in October, there's a tab that says webinar recording, and in September, there's a webinar recording. So you'll see the same thing in the November call where you're able to view the recording.
Thank you.
Okay, no problemo. All right, guys. Thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you next month.
Good evening. Thank you.
All righty. Take care. Bye.